Are you ready?
So you check and see if the sound's on. It looks like it is. You want to check for us? We'll do our best. Get there quick. Do you need to tell? It's still loading. No, well, I have to. I don't have like a direct route there. I go to the link. It says live. Can someone say something?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
I think so. Hold on. Let me turn my volume up. There we go.
You ready?
Hey.
I'll call this meeting to order. Laura, you do roll call, please.
Kyneth
Here.
Luann
Here.
Hook
Here.
Lumen
Here.
and Cameron here.
Okay, please silence your cell phones. We'll do a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, need to approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda. Support.
There's been a motion to approve the agenda, been supported. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passed. Minutes of the last meeting, February 17th. I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes of the February 17th Township Board meeting. There's been a motion to approve the Millington Township meeting minutes for February 17th, 2025. Been seconded. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passed. Treasurer's report, paying the bill.
On the bills, there was one bill that you had questioned if we got billed by it, and we did. So it's the Foster Swift attorney fees. So they billed regarding the email
Regarding the email.
that you asked them about ESTA in January. We got billed in February from Foster Swift.
I didn't even know, because he sent us an email, told us what the rules were.
Uh-huh.
And I said, does this pertain to salary also?
And they
Can't say nothing about.
charge you $50.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
So just so they were aware.
That's all I asked him is,
Right.
does
Yeah.
this pertain to salary also?
So because they're no longer our attorneys, just
Right.
make sure if you have a question, instead of answering them.
Well, they're the ones that sent me the information, and they didn't say nothing about payment.
It must have been.
Well, I'm sorry about that, but I didn't realize it at the time.
Just because you had asked me last time
Yeah.
if they billed, and I hadn't gotten a bill, but now I did. So
Okay.
so on this month's bill, it was only $50, but I just want everyone to be aware that we can't go through Foster Swift. They do charge.
Well, like I said, they sent me the information. All I asked them was that this pertained to salary also. That's all I asked them. And I didn't even realize, I thought they was just sending us information.
Yeah, I'd maybe block them or delete them.
Well, I just won't answer them anymore. That's quite simple if they're going to charge us.
So, okay.
I had a question here about the fire department, about battery replacement for the Silverado, $712. Is that for real, or does anybody know?
Yeah.
I'm thinking to pick up.
Replacement, it was an addition to,
Oh, you added a battery?
because it was drawing down.
Okay.
Killed the original battery, they guaranteed that battery.
Okay.
Suggested a second one be ordered in. And
Oh, probably a good idea. I just see battery replacement, $712 now. Okay, no, that's fair enough. It just sort of caught my eye. What?
yeah, I'm sure when I seen it,
I get a battery cheaper than that, but yeah, if they added one, I could see that. I make a motion, we pay the bills.
Support.
There's been a motion to pay the bills, been supported. Is there any discussion? Not, Laura, need roll call, please?
Yes.
Heine,
Yeah.
Barzell,
Yes.
Cameron, yes, and Lewis.
Yes. Motion passed. Public comment? No public comment? Okay, new business. Dale Fuller.
We've got two letters.
Oh, you want to read those now? Okay.
They're technically public comment, I guess.
Yep.
Do you want to read them, Laura, or not?
I will read one as soon as I get to it.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, number 2.
I was looking behind number 2. Okay, I will read the first one. This is to the Millington Township Board from Lorraine Martin. I recently sent a letter to the Planning Commission Board with some examples of special use permits that was brought to the board and ultimately were then submitted to the Zoning Appeals Board. Permits for STRs regarding the STRs, because of issues with it, it was taken to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Permit for mud bog, the board didn't follow proper procedure, so it went to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Request for semi-trailers and storage containers. The board approved the container ordinance in all areas except Lake Residential because one board member lives on Murphy Lake and he doesn't want them in his backyard. However, they think it is okay for us to have an illegal commercial landscaping business in our backyard. Should this be considered as favoritism? Has gone to ZBA. Permit for gravel pit extension and landscaping. This was approved with no regards for the ordinances or the wishes of the residents that live by the pit. This is also going to the ZBA. This illegal approval is my biggest concern. I have lived in that area since 1958. I and many others do not want a commercial landscaping business there that is not allowed in the ag residential zone. Also, we want the gravel pit to operate per the gravel pit permit. In attending meetings and listening to videos, not once have I heard the gentleman on the board mention that they should consider what the residents want or follow the ordinance. Residents have sent many letters or voiced their opinion at the meetings many times, yet the Planning Commission Board ignores them. I am asking Bob Loomis, our Millington Township Supervisor, to please make sure the boards are following our ordinances. That's their job. I ask that you direct this, especially to the Planning Commission Board. The residents of Millington Township should expect nothing less. Thank you.
Okay. The next one is this Tamara Lay.
It's actually written by Steve.
Steve, okay. I've just seen up here, it says
Yeah.
camera. Somebody want to read that?
To the Millington Township Board, after several conversations with various taxpayers within Millington Township, I am compelled to write yet another letter highlighting serious issues troubling myself and the residents of this township. We have grave concerns over the conduct of several appointed Planning Commission members with improper actions and decorum during meetings. For example, on March 6th, during a public hearing which was designed to hear from the public regarding special land use permits, letters were read that were sent in by taxpayers with regards to the issue. During the reading of the letters, members of the Planning Commission were not listening at all. Instead, sidebar muffled comments were being made by commission members during the readings of these letters, while they were clearly disregarding the letter content. In fact, the reader of the letters, Luann Jarzel, even paused her reading in an effort to capture their attention, just as a first grade teacher would have to do. This is insulting to the constituents and to the justice of the township. There's also video evidence of Planning Commission members badgering one another during vital voting on different motions. Other evidence shows Planning Commission members voting for things they admit violate the ordinances. Further video evidence shows violations of the Open Meetings Act with all members of the Planning Commission in attendance at a Zoning Board of Appeals meeting trying to sway the outcome of the ZBA decision. It appeared that they were being led by the township supervisor in a major attempt to control the narrative and the outcome, forcing their agenda on the entire township. Sadly, all the appointed PC members voted against safeguards and protection for the township. even though these safeguards were recommended by the Michigan Township Association and the township attorney that we pay for. Another reminder to all of us that all 4 appointed members of the Planning Commission were appointed by the township supervisor. And so doing as they wish and pushing hidden agendas and creating great conflict in the township, they claim to need extra meetings now to undo this mess they have created, costing the township additional expenses so they can line the pockets of family, friends, and special interest groups with conflict of interest blood money at the expense of Millington Township residents and taxpayers. The public is fed up with these lies, half-truths, and self-serving agendas by appointed township planning committee members seeking personal financial gains through their actions and votes. Steve Lay, Millington Township resident, homeowner, and taxpayer. Osborne Drive, Millington.
Okay, I think that was it for,
I do have some. I was gonna go on.
Okay, yeah.
Right now.
whatever you want to do.
Yeah, my name is Emery Close. I'm sure most of you know me here. Attend a lot of meetings. For the planning commission there, I did not receive notification in the mail saying that they were going to do this. And I wrote this out just simple here. I ask that you formally challenge the planning commission's actions to modify previously approved special land use permits. Changes are being made without following proper procedures. We've seen this a lot, and we've had a lot of complaints about this stuff, haven't we? And without demonstrating a need or justification, which violates the Millington Township ordinances. That's all I've ever asked. I've been coming to these meetings for over 2 years now to follow the ordinances. As a neighboring property owner, I did not receive the required notification about the public hearing to modify one of these slopes. Section 1802 of the zoning ordinance clearly states that property notice must be given. Failure to notify the affected property owner makes these modifications legally questionable, guys. After learning a hearing had taken place, I went back and I watched it online. I heard Luann repeatedly ask for documentation to support and request for changes. It was clear, planning commission, they weren't listening. They had no documentation saying that there was, documentation for supporting this. Some members even falsely claimed the zoning board of appeals had sent a permit back to them, when in fact the applicant withdrew. They had said that they had withdrew their permit at the zoning board, ZBA, and there was no documentation. What I'm getting at here is there has to be documentation here to do all this, and there was no documentation, what I seen on the video, and I did not get notified, and that is not how this stuff works. But I do understand it could have been a mail issue. Yes.
Are you speaking about the gravel pit hearing?
No.
No. What are we speaking of?
I'm sorry about the planning commission's action to modify special land use permits
Okay.
for
Which
the
date
lake.
was that?
It
March
was
6th.
Yep,
Thank you.
it was the one I missed. I don't miss many meetings, but I did not get notified of this.
Okay. You live within the mailing.
Yep.
Okay.
That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Emery. Any other public comment? If not, new business, Dale Fuller. Oh, I'm sorry.
Doyle Fletcher, 9800 State Road. And the planning commission reviewed those because things were added into it that we did not put in there, into their permits. So we changed it back to the way we had it originally. And that's why those 3 permits were reviewed. Things were added in there that we did not vote on, we did not discuss, and we did not put into those permits. And from now on, we will do all the permits. They will not be done by the zoning administrator. Because that's where the problem is. And I want that made clear. That's why we reviewed those. There was items in there that we did not approve. Thank you.
Thanks, Doyle. Anybody else? If not, new business, Dale Fuller. We'll try this again.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Dale Fuller. I'm the chairman of the Southern Lake Trailway Management Council. And the reason why I'm here tonight is we are trying to get grants for projects that need to be done on the trail. And we were told that we were better off to have a municipality tax number than we have one for the Friends Group, but they said you're better off to have one for the municipality. So that's why I'm here tonight, is to see if we could use the Millington Township's tax ID for put on when we do permits for trail work. You know, the Tesco Foundation told Rogers right that they would better off to have a municipality tax ID number than, because the Friends Group is a 501c3, but that doesn't qualify them for what they want.
So are you asking, can I ask who you're trying to get the grant from? Is it from something that is like a governmental unit or private units, or what, where are you trying to get the grant from?
The Tuscola County Foundations, one,
Community,
yeah,
Cola County Community Foundation?
yeah. We've already got 20,000 from the Franklin Credit Union.
Okay.
But our project we want to do this year is to cut out the blacktop and take out the tree roots that up in the air and then put it back down. And right now, last fall, we had a bid of about $42,000. That's to cover all the way from Millington to Pumeyville. So the trail back to flat again.
So we have done grants through them before. I have submit through them. So they have had access to our ID numbers. I would want to be a part of the grant process before I just, myself, I'm not comfortable just giving you a number,
Right.
tax ID number.
I agree.
So, and I am familiar with that. I don't know who's doing the grant. Are you writing the grant for them?
No,
Sandy Packler.
yeah, she's doing it.
Okay. I'd be willing to work with her, as far as the numbers and things. If the town approves
Yeah.
of doing that. Because the community foundation, I just can't just give out, I'm not
Correct.
comfortable just giving out the number.
Correct, I
But
agree.
we can help submit it together, maybe, if that's,
Yeah. We're part of the rail trail, so
Right,
I think we could,
yeah,
my opinion.
but yeah, that's, because I guess Roger talked to, I think, Scott up there at Carroll Airport and stuff. He said we'd be better off to have a municipality.
Okay.
They would like to give grants for that kind of project,
right,
but,
Mm.
so it was nice that they kind of steered us in a direction that maybe we can get it.
Yeah, because we
It's
tried
encouraging.
we tried last year just using the Friends Group stuff. Didn't fly, so. And then we're trying to get some DNR money too, so. We got another big project we gotta do pretty quick too. That's a bridge down coming just north of Bertrand Road, so.
Are they still talking about taking those bridges out and putting tubes in or not? You know, that was a talk at one time.
Yeah, they have, nothing's been
Nothing been finalized yet.
done, yeah.
I know those bridges are a maintenance nightmare.
Oh, yeah, I tell you,
I worked on them before.
last year, we had the trustees from the county jail.
Okay.
He was out there usually 2 days a month out there. And one time when they were out there for 2 days, the Hester Bridge, we tore it down because the legs they put in underneath were all rotten out. Well,
I think somebody was sold some bad material. Well, because they said they rotted out that fast.
I've been on this board for ever. And I think they cut quarters when they did from Water Lake to Millington. Because all of it, I mean, the decking is terrible. We got, place it every year, some different places all the time. That's what's wrong with the other little one is it's the pylon they put down in the ground. They set the legs on,
Okay.
it's sinking. So it's not even, legs ain't even touching it now.
Mm,
So
yeah.
that's gonna be a major thing, but that's what I'm here for today. I
Okay.
appreciate it. If you can do it, okay, and I don't know,
I don't know why we can't work with you. I mean, I don't see no problem with it, but that's only my opinion.
yeah, well, I've been in your shoes before, so I know what it's like.
It's not good sometimes.
Yeah, okay,
Thanks, Dale.
yeah, thank you.
The next thing for discussion is Southern Link Trail budget. It's number 3, I guess it is. They're requesting $5,000. What's that?
What's this one?
I think that's their whole budget.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's on the first page.
We've got our part on.
Okay.
Right there.
Yeah.
Yep, they're requesting $5,000. Then the next page is showing what every other entity is given. And that's what we gave them last year. So if anybody's got any questions. So if there's no question, the next thing is road work. We agreed to do Irish Road between Barnes and Birch Run. We got a road work agreement on for $152,956. Might just say 153. I just want to remind everybody we'll get 25,000 back on that for doing this project. It'll be 25 less than that. Let's say 127 maybe. I don't know. So that's what we got. We decided to do it. We have to have 3 signatures tonight. And like I say, that's Irish Road between Birch Run and Barnes. That was the oldest road we had, and we decided to do it. So, okay, the Right to Farm Act ordinance enforcement training. This is something that was sent to me. I shared it with the board, and some of them thought it was okay to go to the training. It's $50, I believe, at the Watertown Township Hall.
Yeah, the week is that.
It's the night of the Summerfest meeting.
Everything?
I don't know if anybody's got any questions on that or not. I don't know if we should extend it to the planning commission.
I feel like Tammy would really benefit from it.
Yeah, sure.
And
I
this,
volunteered to go. I just need the board to approve the expense.
I know that the people that are putting it on are top notch, and they've done a great job in the past.
Okay.
If I weren't at the Summerfest meeting, I would want to go as well, but I have to share this one.
Okay.
I'm free to go. Always, I mean, I've been to one thing years ago. Wouldn't hurt to get caught up again.
I agree. I would be interested in going also. Since I was involved in the Michael Lewis thing, I know a little bit about it. So, okay, any questions on that? The next thing is adding items to the agenda.
I was the one who had requested that she put that on there. I just wanted to
Okay.
remind everyone that if we're gonna add stuff to the agenda, let's make sure we follow the ordinances and get it in there by noon on the Friday before the meeting. That was all.
Unless it's emergency, correct?
Exactly, yes. Yeah,
I agree.
that's why we had, I guess it would be good to refresh that and make sure we all remember that. That way we all have time to look things over correctly.
Okay.
So that was that.
Any discussion on that? Next thing we got is discussion for modification of special land use permit.
Yeah, that's me. As a member of the Planning Commission, I have serious concerns about the changes to previously approved land use permits. Because of these concerns, I reached out to the township attorney for legal guidance. In the attorney's response, he wrote, "It should be pointed out to the Planning Commission that absent a request by the permit holder, there really isn't an issue worth raising," end quote. I brought this to the attention of my fellow Planning Commission members, but it was disregarded. The attorney also explained the need and justification to change these permits, and it must be spelled out in the motion. And this standard is met when there is something that either deviates from the ordinance or has unintended consequences that either the permit holder or the township would like to eliminate. When I asked my fellow members to state the specific need and justification for these modifications so that I could record it in the minutes, I was not given an explanation that I felt would satisfy these legal requirements. Here's some of the justifications I was given. The Zoning Board of Appeals had sent one of the permits back for modification, but we didn't receive anything from the ZBOA. That is, as mentioned before, that party withdrew their appeal to the Zoning Board of Appeals. So there was no paperwork from the ZBA. The property owner wanted the changes, but I didn't receive any documents to show that a property owner formally requested changes to their permit. The conditions on the permits were not reviewed. This is their explanation. The conditions on the permit were not reviewed by the County Planning Commission or approved by the board. But we only involve the county and the board when we're modifying an ordinance, not a special land use permit. Another excuse was the permit contained too much information that was already included in the ordinance. But then when Ed revised the permit, he copied the entire short-term rental ordinance language into the permit. I worry that because we didn't follow the attorney's guidance and went ahead and modified these permits, we're going to be in trouble. I worry that we look foolish when we move forward and they want to modify a used car dealership permit when the property owner has no idea what's been going on in the township and has expressed no interest on his part in any changes to the permit. One member of the board told me that they want all permits to match. Well, this flies in the face of common sense. Special land use permits are tailored to the requested use per the ordinance that apply, and they will vary. I can't seem to make them understand that. I've mentioned it a few times in our meetings. My questions going forward that this board might need to consider: are all special land use able to be modified without a formal request, without need or justification, and without following a legal process? I don't think they are. That's why we have lawyers, is to get their advice. I asked Jackie if proper notifications were sent to property owners, and she thought they were. If we have a property owner here tonight, he said he didn't get it, so maybe we need to tweak something there. How do we check that the sending of these notifications are following the ordinance? If the Planning Commission ignores the township's legal advice, are we proceeding in a way that's going to expose us as a township to legal challenges? Does the supervisor's public endorsement of these changes affect the Planning Commission's ability to make it fair-minded? Is he exerting his influence? Because Bob, stood up at that meeting during public comments and voiced his opinion on why things needed to change. And so it shouldn't make changes just because someone doesn't like it. And that was actually one of the reasons that I heard do. I have my email from the lawyer, if anybody needs to read it later, but I put his comments in here. And since we are the governing board, I thought they should be aware of my feelings and concerns with the Planning Commission, since I'm the liaison there.
Can I get a copy of your letter? Because you do have some very valid questions, and I'd like to look things over. I don't need it right this second,
Okay.
just put a note in there.
Yeah, I'd like a copy of that also, please. Not right now, but. Okay,
On that same note, I would like to have the record reflect that twice, at least twice during that planning commission meeting on March 6th, they stated on the two different permits that they were directed by the township board to change the wording. The Millington Township Board did not direct the planning commission to change any wording on the special land use permit. In fact, the supervisor made a motion on January 20th, 2025 meeting to direct the planning commission to change the wording on special land use permits. He wanted to keep in A through A, and then he wanted to get rid of the rest and take out the other things. And the motion was not supported, and it was not passed. And it died. And I have the minutes that state that. Motion made by Loomis, support by no one to get extra add-ons on the Morris STR SLUP removed. Much discussion, motion died due to lack of support. Motion failed. So if the planning commission is getting direction by someone from this board to change permits, he is speaking independently because this board did not direct the planning commission to change anything on a special land use permit.
I think perhaps our planning commission maybe needs to be directed a little more often to refer to the lawyers before they make these decisions that we've never done before. We're not sure if they're legal. The lawyer obviously has an opinion on these, and maybe if it went directly to Alvin or, the chairman of that board, maybe they would understand better what the lawyer's talking about and what changes should and shouldn't be made.
And if they would just go to the ordinances.
Yeah, I've referred them to the ordinances several times on several recent issues. One time Alvin even admitted, yeah, that is more, that way would follow the ordinance. And then they discussed it some more and it got changed. He voted differently. I don't know what it is that changes their mind. But they don't, but then to go to the short-term rental permits and they took the ordinance and put it in the permit. That's not how you do a permit. They are two separate documents. So, I don't know, maybe a workshop, how to do a special use permit. Or trust the person that's been trained.
I don't understand why people are so concerned about not, like something that was put into a permit that they didn't themselves put it in, but yet when they're told where it was recommended by lawyers, by the MTA, by Michigan State, that these are things that should be on a special land use permit for the protection of our township, for the protection of the person getting the permit. And instead of asking the entities, why are they there? How is this protecting us? They're like, well, we're not going to have it there because we didn't put it there.
The Zoning Enabling Act covers everything that was in the original permits. And they were in the permit that I voted yes on. I have yet to see the permit that they claim, first one they looked at didn't have it, and then the one they voted on did. I've never seen that first one that didn't have it. The one we voted on, and they come out of the Zoning Enabling Act. You go to you start around page 5 here, and there's a whole bunch of them. I reviewed this whole thing again today. And yes, the stuff they took out of those ordinances came from here. Michigan Zoning Enabling Law is law. We have to be more attuned to following the law, following the ordinance, which is a lot of it's where our ordinance came from, these documents. And I'm very concerned that this has continued for so many months on the Planning Commission.
Okay, anything else on that?
You have an opinion on this? A thought?
No, I had opinion before when we was doing the amendments that it didn't need to be in there. That's why it wasn't in there to begin with.
But
the
these
amendments.
laws say they do.
What's that?
You read the Zoning Enabling Act, it'll only take you an hour. And you will find what is in there was in our ordinances and was in those permits.
Okay. Well, I just told you my opinion, and I stated that right from the start and
Okay,
right
well,
to
I
the end.
suggested a solution that maybe you can find more information.
Okay. Anything else on that discussion? If not, we need zoning administrator's report.
You still have something else on
Do
your.
we, oh, I'm sorry. Administrative assistant overtime pay.
Sharon, did you
Somebody
want
know anything about that? 'Cause I don't.
I think, I'm assuming that's the one with Jackie, whether she wanted
Right.
overtime or comp time.
And she did, she decided she wanted the overtime pay instead of the
She wanted the
comp
overtime pay?
Yeah.
Okay, the
time. So
time.
normally, if she worked overtime, she would earn time and a half comp pay. We would like to switch that back to when she worked or switch it to, I don't know if it ever has been. When she works overtime, she receives time and a half pay for her overtime. So that's what it's.
Yeah, I don't know
she
from
chose.
this. I don't know from the start, but I know Carrie had comp time. I don't know if she always had comp time, but I know at the end she did, but.
That started with Diane Dawes,
Okay,
I believe. Well, that's been a long time.
okay. Now we'll do the zoning administrator's report.
So I sent you an electronic copy of the zoning permits that have been issued here to date. Should have received that in your email. Along with that email, I also sent you a copy of a zoning application for parcel ID 017-007-170-0700000. This is lot number 7 of the Cooper subdivision. The property owner would like to build a house on this lot. He said that he spoke with Mr. Loomis and was told that he could build on this parcel even though it is less than 1 acre. Our ordinance requires 1 acre in the AR district to build. I didn't find any exceptions from this provision. I did ask Mr. Loomis to provide me with documentation to verify that the Cooper subdivision is exempt from the 1 acre rule. He referenced section 12.024, which is found on page 23, which provides for a minimum of 20,000 square feet in platted subdivisions. But I only see that this exemption applies in the R1 district. You'll see that little number 4 under the table in number 12 or article 12. I don't find that this exemption applies in the AR district. My thought is that this might require a variance. Variance information will be found in section 1902. But before I responded to the property owner, I wanted to bring this to the board to see if you had a differing opinion.
This platted subdivision was in place starting 1957. The minimum square foot, it meets that. It's 38,000, almost 39,000 square feet. It's 104 feet minimum lot width, or that's what it is at 75 minimum. You look on our assessment, it's a Cooper subdivision, lot number 7. That's where I got it from. And it says right here, if located within a plotted subdivision, and that's what it is.
Right, but that, what you're reading from, may I come up to the table?
Yeah, under the R1.
So what you're reading from, that little number 4 is for R1.
Yeah,
Well, this is in AR, which there's no number 4 that references it.
but it's a plotted subdivision. These are the minimum setbacks for plotted subdivisions.
So no, I mean, according to this,
That's my opinion.
well, I'm just reading it from the
Yeah,
ordinance.
well, it is a plotted subdivision,
But it's not a plotted subdivision in that district.
but
So
it
I'm not
is.
sure that the number 4 that you're referencing would apply to that.
So in looking into that,
I mean, I'm happy to grant
Right,
the
right.
application, but I
Looking
feel like I need something that says that I'm able to do that.
looking into that today, all the other plotted subdivisions are put as R1. Every other plotted subdivision is R1. And I don't know if that was missed because it's AR behind it and R1 is the subdivision. So I'm wondering if when they made the map, they missed putting that subdivision as R1.
How do we?
Check. Jackie and I
Fix
looked at
that.
that today. Even on the map, it's not yellow. And I think what happened when they put the map together, I think they missed that because it is a plotted subdivision.
Just
I mean, we got the.
don't want to violate the ordinance in
Yeah.
approving an application.
That's the
That's
original.
why I'm bringing it to you.
We've got the original application with all the signatures in there. That's where I got my information from. And I've known for years it's a plotted subdivision.
But our ordinance reads
Okay.
differently. So my question is, do we need to make an ordinance amendment? Do we need to do a variance? How do we correct it so that what we're approving matches the ordinance?
Well, I think that needs to be changed to R1 if that's the problem.
I don't know how to do that. I mean, I can't just
Yeah,
change.
no, I'm
the
not saying you do it, but I mean, I think that's what needs to be done. Because
Okay,
it
how
is a
does that
plotted
happen?
subdivision.
How do we do that?
I'll be honest with you, Tammy, I don't know, but I will find out.
I just don't want to violate the ordinance by approving something that ordinance clearly says shouldn't be approved. So if someone wants to,
That's the only distinction in the plotted subdivisions is R1. That's the only language there's in there about plotted subdivisions.
yeah, that number 4 only applies to R1.
Yeah, and that's the only language in the ordinance on plotted subdivision.
Do
There's
we
no
have
language
any other
on-
plotted subdivisions in the AR district?
No,
Not that I
Just
know
the
of.
one.
just the
Mhm.
one.
So
So-
we need to figure out how to fix this plotted
So
subdivision.
there
Yeah.
was at one time a house there. And there's septic and well and all that.
Mhm.
So I guess my feeling would be to make the variance for that because there already was a house there.
Well, so the variance doesn't get approved by me, a variance gets approved by the zoning board of appeals, but I'm happy to forward it to the zoning board of appeals and ask for a variance, but I wanted to have the direction of the board to do that.
The only other thing would be is if we find out the procedures to change it for that, so that that subdivision also, this little number
Mhm.
applies to the subdivision and R1, all plotted subdivisions and R1, because for some
It's-
reason that was not put into R1.
Because even in the legal description, it's lot number 7, Hooper subdivision.
I'm not disputing that.
Yeah,
It's a-
but I think the real problem is we could need to figure out how to change that to R1. I think that's what we need to do.
So then will you follow up with me?
Yes, I will.
How to do that?
Yes, I will. I'll probably have to get a hold of Adam Young, I would assume, to find out what we have to do. And like Sharon said, I think it just got missed.
And if we don't find a way to correct that, then we could send it for a variance?
So
Is
that,
that like plan A and plan B? I just want to make sure I'm
I
understanding
think
correctly.
that sounds very, very reasonable.
But I think this might come up later if we don't change that R1 distinction. It's gonna come up with some other, because there's 14 lots there.
But it's all the same plotted subdivision.
Yes.
So either we change the whole subdivision to R1,
I think
or
we just have
each time
to,
someone wants to build there, they would have to get a variance.
I think what we need to do is get a hold of Adam Young and see what we gotta do to correct that. And, I will let you know.
Thank you. We also sent you a copy of the updated complaint file electronically. And then I wanted to give you a few updates on some of the things that we've been working on. Complaint file 2024-001 is the Salisbury fence dispute in the Lake Residential District. We talked last month about the property owner removing the screens over the fence 25 feet in each direction to comply with the site zone requirements. I did send you before and after pictures so that you could take a look at what those look like now. The fence is in the road easement and the complainant would like the township to ask the property owner to move the fence. That was a second complaint that was filed on the same property. You already heard that complaint. They were here and they spoke during public comments. At that time, it was my understanding that the supervisor was going to work with the residents to amicably resolve their concerns. On 2/27, the supervisor emailed me and said, if you are happy with the fence meeting the ordinance, that's fine. I don't feel like this is my decision. It's subjective. And so I would like direction from the board as to how you would like to proceed with that complaint file.
My opinion is the gentleman that was here last month, I thought there would be a way to maybe work something out. But after talking to Paul Martin, I don't think there is. It's not up to me to decide where the property line's at. So,
Not up to me either. So.
no, I realize that. But what I'm saying is, it's not up to me to say, hey, it's over the property line. I don't know where the property line's at. They're going to have to find out where the property line's at and distinguish from there. But I don't think it's up to this board to distinguish where the property lines are at.
I believe that he did bring information that it had been surveyed and they do know where the property line is. They have already figured that out.
But I think they would have to file a civil lawsuit in order to challenge where the fence is located.
Absolutely.
But I'm not 100% positive on that, so I guess I'm just asking the board, so from the board's standpoint, is this complaint file resolved? Do I close this file, or do you want to do something else with it?
If you're happy with the screen, what's the original complaint was,
Well,
I think it's
again,
all
like,
done.
it's subjective, and I don't want to be the one to make that, so that's why I sent you copies of the before and the after pictures.
From the pictures that you had sent, are they any different than the ones that we saw at the last meeting?
I didn't send you pictures at the last meeting.
The last meeting, she had removed, she had said she wanted to wait for warmer weather before she took the cloth down. And then when I was reading through here, there was like 7 days later, or 4 days later, I guess the weather got warmer, and she went out, she had to remove 2 sections of the material. The gentleman that was here spoke and said, you still can't see around because the way it was angled.
Yeah.
So that's why I sent you pictures, so that you can see what a person driving down the road would see.
Okay, so those are the same pictures.
Those are the pictures of the modifications that were made.
Okay, so she's only made the modifications one time. She hasn't
Yes.
taken anything down. Okay,
That's right.
that was what I was just trying to make sure there wasn't any more.
Sorry.
So what's your opinion? Do you think it's a goal or not as far as the screen?
It's my opinion that this is now between the people that are involved, Paul Martin and the other ones. And if they want to pursue it to make her remove the fence, I believe it's and then because she has widened out the visual area. We've gone down that road in the dark and in the daylight. Is it perfect? No, but it's a curve. It's not a corner.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm comfortable with it being closed.
I agree.
All right. Thank you for the feedback.
That'd be up to the
I
court
will
system
close
to-
the file. Complaint file 2024-033 was a blight concern. I just wanted to update you that this complaint file was transmitted to the Tuscola County Sheriff Department for follow-up on March 12th.
Tammy, do you know of any, because we had this problem years before, probably even before I was involved in the township. I understand that there was an agreement that as long as he kept it so far off the road, it was good. Do you know of anything about that agreement that he had with the township? Between Mr. Roan and the township?
I don't have any record of it.
Okay, I'm just asking. I heard that. I didn't know if it was true or not.
Are you able to find a record of it?
I didn't even look, be honest with you.
I don't.
No, I'm just asking.
Well, if he has the one that has the complaint on him has a record of that, it would be very helpful.
Yeah.
If you would bring it to us, especially since I don't believe he's responded to anything that you sent.
Oh, okay.
I've had no communication.
I just heard that rumor that when this happened before, that there was agreement, he had to be so far off the road, that put a fence up, and anything past the fence was good, but that's just hearsay.
Well, if you can find that,
I don't
that
have
would
any
be
record.
nice to have it presented to us.
Complaint file 2024-035 is a potential blight concern and a potential special land use permit violation. The property owner indicated that he is not able to comply with the request of the board to present the township with evidence that these vehicles fall under the special land use or variance. He explained that the cars for resale are not titled and registered, so he's unable to present that information to the township. Indicated that he only had one junk car visible. It was my understanding that the property owner was planning to speak to the board. Since he was not present at the February meeting, it was my understanding that one of the board members was going to reach out to the property owner for clarification of his concerns about becoming compliant with their ordinance. They haven't done anything with this file. I have spoken to the property owner. We were not able to come to a mutual understanding of how the violation could be resolved, so I brought it to the board to decide how to move forward with this.
I was hoping to do some more investigating on it. I feel like with it being a commercial thing and it's his livelihood, I
He has
feel
claimed it,
being
moved everything around quite a bit. He has moved everything around quite a bit since the February meeting. He's shuffling I think cleaning out his fenced area.
Oh,
He's shuffling some of the stuff back there.
to move it behind the fence?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's fewer cars out front.
That hasn't been communicated to me, so I don't have that for my file.
I just drove by there and I noticed, yeah, he has moved a few cars back, so that would be something good for him to tell you
Do
that
we
he's
have,
working on it.
do we have different zoning ordinances for commercial than we do for residential? That's
I mean, we do in our ordinance, we have a commercial zone and a
right.
residential
I
zone,
read through that, but it didn't really.
But there isn't a distinction made within our blight ordinance.
Right. Is there any way we could work with that? I mean, I just feel like that's a livelihood. Honestly, I never noticed. I'm not a blight noticer unless, yeah, just if not. So, is there any way we can work with that?
Well, she's been willing to work with the people that have a problem, but
Yeah.
they're working on it and can prove that they're work. So he needs to get with her and let her know, hey, I've done this so far. I'm working on it. And I think he's going to be closer to finding some resolution that he figures if he works with her.
And I don't disagree with that. She's been extremely wonderful to work with from everything, all the communications I've had and seen.
Thank you.
But can we figure out something so we have something? I'm not a huge ordinance person either. The less we have, the better for me.
So what are you thinking? You trying to say that it's not blight because it's commercial?
Partially, yes. But I just feel like there's got to be some middle ground.
Well, even with a commercial business, you want it to look nice and attractive, especially right there as people are coming into Millington Township. You want to start it looking good, right up through the commercial corridor. But I think the progress he's made, I just drove by there and I noticed it. So he has done some changes.
Okay.
That's what we need. That's positive. That's the direction we want to go.
Okay.
So, but and he admits he knows what his permit was when he got it.
Yeah, because I was reading through
kind of
that.
slipped through the years, and so he's working on it. I think
We just extend the time to
yeah.
have them come into compliance. I didn't know that, I don't know if anyone has had a conversation or
I
if
did, but it
that's
was
just-
previous to the last meeting, and I thought he was coming to last meeting to talk to us. I have not talked to him since then.
I can reach out again and see if
I don't know
there's
if
an
that's
agreement.
necessarily going to help anything, to be completely honest. I mean, but if we
Well, it
wanted
goes
to,
both ways too.
yes, I do agree.
Well, and it doesn't look good when the person that gives out special land use permits isn't complying with his own special land use permit.
That's a very valid
Usually
point.
you're held to a higher standard when you're.
Have you stopped out there and talked to him about it?
I've talked to him multiple times.
I mean, actually stop out at the business.
I mean, I at the business.
Okay.
I'm not sure I understand what you're getting at.
Well, what I'm saying is maybe he's already taken care of the problem. I don't know. I haven't been out there.
Well, it sounds
sounds like
he's
he's made
made
some improvements.
recent improvements.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of work.
Okay, well, then we'll give it some more time and see what happens. Finally, complaint file 2024-39. No zoning permit, non-permitted recreational vehicle. This is a property owner that came in and spoke with you. It was my understanding based on our last conversation that he actually called up to the township and spoke with Laura directly and said that he was going to be bringing in the permits to correct these violations. As far as I'm aware, the township hasn't received anything. I haven't seen anything. I haven't from him. It was suggested that I reach out to him again. I reached out to him again, and now I'm getting that voicemail that says the mailbox is full. And
did you get that? You did not get that last one, like before the last meeting, because I know you said you had reached out to him. I'm just wondering if maybe something serious has happened to him if his voicemail box is full at this point.
I can't say. I don't know. I mean, it
I
just
don't
seems
know.
like this is such a simple fix,
Yeah.
but
And he seemed willing to do it when I talked to him on the phone.
but I haven't been able to get in touch with him again. So I can try sending him another certified letter that
He won't
reminds
sign
him.
for it.
I mean, I don't know what else to do to resolve.
Well, the next step would be to ask the police officer to go out and serve him the letter, right?
Well, I can do that.
And that is the valid next step.
That is the next step we do. And sometimes just if the officer goes there and it just motivates him to come in and do what he already promised to do.
Yeah.
But doesn't this gentleman live down south?
No, he lives with his mother next door to the vacant land, as far
Oh.
as I know. Okay, I couldn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I know you used to. You know him, Dwight?
I don't believe he lives there. He, wherever his work is, if he finds a rock to lay his head down, that's where he lays down.
Okay.
But
I mean,
And that's what my comment was. You did your part. Now we need to move on to the next step.
next step being the sheriff's department.
Well, if that's the next step, yeah.
I just want to, I just like to figure out I don't want it ever to be said that, Tammy's doing something crazy with these complaint files. The good news is that we've only had one complaint file so far this year, and that complainant called and reported themselves by saying that they built a barn without a permit. So I was able to work with that person, and we did get that resolved, and we haven't had any complaints since then. So these are still trying to resolve complaints that have been there forever, that originated before we even updated our civil infraction policy. So if we can get these residual complaints cleared out, I think we'll be sitting pretty good. And that's the end of my report, unless you have any other questions.
Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Takes persistence.
Okay, where we at? Old business, earn sick time, paid time off.
That kind of goes on with, also with the employee contract. And I believe so with the employee contract, we are offering them, front loading them 40 hours of earned sick time.
Are you talking the sextons or everybody? Just the sextons?
What do you mean, everybody?
And Jack.
Oh, I should say the sextons and Jack. I mean, you're not talking firemen or.
No,
none
no.
of
So
that.
that the firemen are a different issue.
Yep.
This is for our hired employees, Jackie and the 2 cemetery sextons, administrative assistant, I should say. And I did find the township focus, we did find out that the employees exempt law that from the law included those who work in accordance with an employee policy that allows the individual to schedule his or her own working hours and that prohibits the employer from taking adverse personal action against the individual. The individual does not schedule a minimum number of hours worked. That would cover the cleaning person. So the cleaning person is not a part of ESTA time because they set their own hours and there's no minimum scheduled time for them. The fire department, yes, they will earn ESTA time at any hours that they work. They will earn ESTA time 1 hour for every 30 hours they work. And we'll just keep track of that. How they can use it, we don't know. They can earn it, but we don't know how they take it off because they're not in any scheduled hours. So,
Yeah, the attorney and the
He hasn't
training.
figured that out for us yet.
but with our employees, we're going to front load them 40 hours. This also does say that they cannot get their ESTA time if they quit or if they are fired. That is not, and if it's rolled over, they cannot collect on that if they leave the position. So that was another one that the people were worried about, that they could save all this time and then turn it in and get it when they left. And that's not a part of this one. It's different.
That is part of your employment agreement though, isn't it?
No vacation time they can take.
Oh.
Just their vacation time that they've earned, but not earned sick time.
Is it specifically identify that?
Well, it goes in our agreement, it says according to the ESTA guidelines. And that's in the ESTA guidelines.
But where it talks about like when you leave, that you have paid out if you give notice or that specific to the vacation.
That's just vacation time. It's spelled out.
Vacation time, approved time. That's the time is listed separately.
Yeah, voluntary resignation.
Krista?
Hey, I got a question. Sort of like the cleaning lady, she paid salary, and also our deputy clerk, our deputy,
Doesn't apply to deputies either.
no deputies?
Nope. The
Okay,
deputies would also fall under the appointed officials and therefore are not subject to the ESTA requirements.
now how about the roadside mowing person?
You didn't ask me about that before.
No, I said it came to me afterwards. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm just asking a question.
I think that would also be under, he sets his own hours.
Yeah. So he gets it. And since he's one in the same, he is
Okay.
already getting it.
Employees exempt from the law include those who work in accordance with employee policy that allows individual schedules his or her own working hours. So he schedules his own working hours.
But we pay him by the hour, but.
And that
That's the same
prohibits the
Okay.
employer from
I'm
taking.
just asking.
Yeah, so because he works his own hours, that prohibits the employer from taking adverse personnel action against the individual if they do not show up. So if there's not scheduled a minimum number of working hours, then those don't cover.
Well, the section would be on the same thing. They schedule their own hours.
No, they're required 30 hours a week.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they schedule their hours different.
They're from 8 to 2.
But what I'm saying, whenever, let's say they got to plow snow or whatever,
That's just an addition over and above their 8 to 2 shift.
just asking questions. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm
No,
just asking.
that's fine. Yeah, so those three will, we're gonna do,
Okay.
will apply.
Now, how about the firemen? No,
They're gonna earn the hours.
they're gonna earn the hours.
Once they go. I don't know how they're gonna take them.
Because the law states that in order to apply the earned sick time, you have to take it off from a scheduled shift. And firefighters don't have, we have volunteer firefighters, so they don't have a scheduled shift that they can take it from. But they will be accruing it, so if the state of Michigan figures out how they can take it.
We'll know how many hours they have.
Didn't make it easy, did they?
Nope. A lot of homework done between the two of us.
Yeah. Well, thanks for taking care of that.
You're welcome.
Employee contract, that would be you too, Sheriff?
Yeah, I sent everybody the employee contract. We had a rough copy, sent it out to you guys for your input, questions, and then we sent it to the lawyer, and we sent it back, and we implemented what he said, and we've come up with pretty much a working contract, so it'll be signed. It's a 1-year contract, but then we will every year review it and go over it with them, and it will be an ongoing contract.
Did he change much?
He added a ton.
Added things that were necessary. Huh?
So well, I'm gonna have the red. The red was what he added.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, he added a ton of words, and it was all. I was like, oh, yep, you can tell what was added. It's just an attorney. He's
It's just,
covering.
it's
all
just
the
a,
bases.
that's why we pay him the big
Yeah.
bucks.
Yep, he added at least a few.
So, yeah.
Okay.
But it is only a 3-page contract, so that's not too bad.
Yeah.
And then we also have the time off request reporting form. And when we give them this, we will also give them a copy of the ESTA and their work job description. So they will have all that. And we will also have a copy of it in our office and scanned into our system.
Now, BSNA, can they track the hours too? Okay.
Yep, I talked to Jackie and they have a
Okay.
place to do it.
I already got the information and sent it over to Jackie so that she can follow step by step how to add it.
Okay. Second public comment. No second public comment. Action items, Dale Fuller, Southern Link Trail Chairman. I feel we need to work with him because we're part of the rail trail.
Sharon's already said that she's willing to work with him on them, so why not?
Yeah, why not? I mean, we're part of it, so why not?
I'm not comfortable just giving him our numbers, but if Sandy wants to fill everything out, bring it into me. And I've done other grants, I'm willing to work with her and I put the numbers in that they require. So, yeah, yes, I'm fine with that.
So I'll make a motion. We work with the rails and trails as far as our
Tax ID.
tax ID number. First of all, we'll have them fill out the grant application, and then we'll work with them as far as using our number.
I'll support that.
You heard the motion, has been seconded. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passed. Southern Link Trail budget.
I make a motion that we give $5,000 to the Southern Link Trail budget.
Support.
There's been a motion to contribute $5,000 to the Southern Links Trailway Management Council. Has been seconded. Is there any discussion? If not, Lori, we need a roll call, please.
Okay, Cook,
Yeah.
Jarzell,
Yes.
Kynan,
Yes.
Cameron, yes, Loomis.
Yes. Motion passed. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is the road work from Irish Road, on Irish Road between Birch Run and Barnes. Total of $152,956. And as a reminder, we'll get 25,000 back for doing that job through the road commission, as always, for doing a 1 mile of HMA work. So I'll make a motion. We contract with the road commission to do Irish Road from Birch Run to Barnes Road for 128,000 total at the end.
Support.
Been supported. You heard the motion and it's been supported. Is there any discussion?
How do we determine what mile we do?
We're given a list of roads by the last time that they was done. And I go out and look at them, see what shape they're in. And this here, I don't know, I think it was 12 years old or something like that. And it gets a lot of traffic. I'd be surprised because people go around M15 and it was pretty rough. And so we decided to do that mile. That's just by the shape it's in and the age of it. I forget the name. There's a scale that they use. The road commission does. I forget what the name of it is. Any other time I'd remember it, but anyways, they rate them on that scale and tell you what shape they're in and the last time they was done. So that's how we pick them. Okay, there's been a motion, been seconded. Is there any further discussion? Not Laura, we need a roll call, please.
Cook,
Yes.
Kynan,
Yes.
Cameron, yes, Jarzell,
Yes.
and Loomis.
Yes. Motion passed. And before you guys get out of here, I need 3 signatures.
It's your spot.
Yeah. Right here. I can fill out the day and everything, but okay. Right to Farm Act and Ordinance Enforcement Training.
I make a motion to allow any board member and the zoning administrator to go to the Right to Farm Act on April 10th, 2025 at the cost of $50 per person.
Support.
Okay, there's been a motion and seconded. Is there any discussion? Do you think we ought to extend this out to the planning commission? Since as part of the zoning.
I amend my
Or no?
motion to include the planning commission.
Okay. There's been a motion to give all board members, the zoning administrator and also the planning commission, the opportunity to go to the Right to Farm Act Ordinance Enforcement Training on April 10th, 2025 from 6 to 8 at the Watertown Township Hall. And it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? At a cost of $50. Is there any discussion? If not, Laura, we need a roll call, please.
Jarzell,
Yes.
Kynan,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Cameron, yes, Loomis.
Yes. Motion passed.
So will the administrative assistant be sending in our registration?
I can ask her to do it.
I think they time.
Should I put in a list or do you guys want to just let her know who would like to
Just,
attend?
I would just, if you want to go, just contact
Jackie.
Jackie.
I already texted her, so she knows.
Okay. And she can make a list. I forget, when does that have to be in? Anybody know? I didn't even.
I'm sure you could even pay the date. Well,
It doesn't really say.
you know what? I can text her and ask her right now.
Yeah, I don't see no date when
Cost is
she needs to
$50.
know.
Please make check payable to Buckham.
Yeah,
Calling.
RSAP too. But if you're interested, get a hold of Jackie and get your name on the list. Okay, earned sick time and pay.
That's just part of the contract, right?
Yeah, it's all
Should
implemented.
it
in the
all be the
contract.
same?
I think we can do that same together.
Do it all together?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I didn't know if you want to do it separate since you're
because
labeled separate.
the employee contract stipulates we're following the ESTA rules. So it's all kind of encompassed in one.
So you want to do the earned sick time and employee contract all at once?
Yeah.
Okay,
So I'm gonna just make a
that's fair enough.
motion. Make a motion to implement the employee contract for current and future employees as presented.
Did you write that down?
Yes.
Could you read it slower?
I make a motion to
Okay.
implement the employee's contract for current and future employees with the contract
Hold on just a second. Future
as presented.
employee. Current and future employees as presented.
I'll
As-
support that.
I'll just read your note later.
Okay.
We'll listen to it again 50 times.
I think I'll simplify this. There was a motion to approve the employee contract with the Michigan Earned Sick Time Act. Is that fair enough?
As presented.
As presented, and it's been seconded. Is there any discussion?
Who first did it? I put him second.
No, I think Sharon shared your motion.
The motion, yeah.
That would make sense. Okay, we've got that. Now we're good. No other discussion from me.
Okay, you heard the motion has been seconded. Is there any further discussion? If not, since we're dealing with money, maybe we'll do a roll call vote.
Okay.
I don't know what's necessary, but
Okay. Garzell,
Yes.
Heine,
Yes.
Cameron, yes. Hook,
Yes.
Loomis.
yes. Number 7, administrator assistant overtime pay. I make a motion that we pay the administrator assistant time and a half for any overtime that is accrued.
Support.
There's been a motion to pay the administrator assistant time and a half overtime pay for any time that is accrued on overtime, and it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? If not, let's do a roll call again.
Okay, just a second. Hook,
Yes.
Cameron, yes. Heine,
Yes.
Garzell,
Yes.
Loomis.
Yes. Okay, supervisors report. Been spending a lot of time on the budget. We finally got that done. We had a budget workshop last Thursday. Oh, Wednesday. Last Wednesday, I think it was. Anyways, one of those days. Had board review last week, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Got through that. I applied for the tire drive. I haven't been given any dates yet, but I did apply. Been doing land splits and combinations. And I need to talk to the board about our board of review policy. We had a couple instances, and I felt like throwing the one person out, but I figure I probably should. They directly attacked the board of review for no reason. And I noticed our meeting policy only involves a township board, the planning commission, and the zoning board of appeals. We need some kind of a policy. It was very unfortunate what happened. It should have never happened. So we need a policy that, you come in here and you directly intimidate and bully the board of review, you got to leave. It was very unfortunate. There was 4 of us that heard it, and like I say, I didn't know if I should. I felt like it, but Didn't think I should.
Do you have,
Afterwards, I wish I would have, but
do you have a policy that you'd like to implement?
I haven't yet, Sharon. I just, that just happened last Tuesday. And,
Yeah, definitely. If you can come up with a policy.
I will come up with a policy before our July, board of review. We've never had this before. It was very unfortunate. So I just wanted the board aware of it, that that's what happened, and it should never happen. The one instance, they should have been here last year. And because this year all their taxes went up, it's 3.1% like everybody else's. Last year it came uncapped, and they didn't understand that. You should have been here last year. And the second one, it was coded wrong, and it's very. I mean, I don't want to mention no names. I ain't gonna get into that, but we got to solve that problem.
Well, it would be nice, from what I've heard, that when they come in, they understand the way it goes, and it's not like they can give them an answer that right that moment. That it has to go through the policies and they have to look into it, right? And he was just upset that they wouldn't
Maybe,
tell him right then and there. Or?
yeah, you wanted an answer right then and there, and they said, no, we got to check into this. And
Yeah, it's unfortunate he wasn't patient.
yeah, and I talked to Heather about it, and she said you guys need to come up with a policy because this happens more all the time. People are getting unruly, and you got to cover your butt. And she said there's no reason for it. You need to ask them to leave once you got a policy in place. So I will put a policy together and bring it to the board for approval. This should never happen to begin with, and it won't happen again as long as I'm here. I felt sorry and I apologize to the board of review. We was both caught off guard, and I promised them it would never happen again.
Maybe if the board of review has got rules that they have to follow, how can we get that out to the community that they won't give you an answer right then? Because I would have no idea that they couldn't give you an answer.
Yeah, they got to research it, and then they talk to the assessor like we did on Thursday.
What if we drafted just a page explaining how things work? And if you make a call, make an appointment, then we mail the paper out to you.
Well, and I think once the people come in, because they got to get their paperwork from Jackie, and Jackie could give it to them. Say, these are our policy for the meeting.
Okay. I don't know if they'd have time
Just
to
be
look
respectful.
over it, but that's common sense, but unfortunately it's less common.
You don't always know they're coming in ahead of time, do you?
I thought they had to make an
And
appointment.
some do. You don't have to, but some do make appointments.
I thought they did have.
But you don't have to. No. You can just walk in if you want.
Well, if they make an.
But if somebody's got an
appointment,
appointment, you got to wait, of course.
Right.
But I think with Jackie getting the paperwork, she could hand them this, say, this is our meeting policy,
And this is how it works.
and don't screw up. Yeah, it's very I felt bad. I mean, it should never happen. So that's all I've got.
We've got one thing on the renewable energy workshop. We sent out 17 invites. Unfortunately, the date was wrong, but I also contacted everybody like within the day when we realized about the mistake. So everybody knew when they got it, it was April, not March. And I've already got a few responses in the affirmative that they plan on coming.
And I got.
Was it going to stay at the date you set this?
Yes, this time it's set in stone. I'm ordering cookies and coffee, so.
Was it? Was that April 16th or 15th?
April 14th.
14th. Okay.
I'll be
I know you sent me a.
Yeah, a regular meeting date of the planning commission.
Yeah, I should be
then-
there. What day is that?
Monday,
Monday.
14th.
And Shelley got back to me. She's the clerk for Tuscola Township. And she said there's no, for signing up for the class, there's not. She's like, they can sign up anytime.
Oh, okay.
So
Just before the day of the meeting.
I'm
Or
sure.
maybe even the day of the meeting. I don't know.
Nothing's final until you're dead. And even then, I'm sure God negotiates.
Not throwing dirt on you. Okay. Any other discussion? If not, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Then a motion to adjourn, been supported. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passed. Could everybody sign this, sign-in sheet if you would, please?
Who needs to sign